1939 World Individual Speedway Final, Part 7. Langton's got himself a run-off for the 1939 World Championship. Kelvin Tatum repeated down the microphone. Wilbur Lamoureux was seen biting hard on his knuckles in the pits, a wry smile on his face as Eric Langton shook hands with Cordy Milne as both riders made their way off the track. Yes, Jack Parker had scored 3 points, Eric Langton 2, Cordy Milne 1, and Eric Collins 0. So has Wilbur Lamoureux enthused Pearson? Has he written off his World Championship hopes? Does that mean we have already written off Cordy Milne as well, gentlemen? Asked Keith Ewan of all those who surrounded him. After all, discounting the bonus points he scored, Cordy Milne has actually finished in 3rd place tonight behind Eric Langton and Wilbur Lamoureux. I don't think we can write any one of these 3 riders off, advised Chris Lewis. I don't think there is anything to choose between them, confirmed Steve Johnson. Eric Langton bottled it once before, announced Keith Ewan, as he got it in him to outthink, outpace and outwit those 2 Americans, both of whom are pretty consistent high-scoring World Championship performers. An inordinate length of time passed before some wag in the restless crowd shouted out, "Hurry up, don't you know there's a bleeding war on?" A sudden declaration that at least galvanised 3 determined warriors to finally make their way onto Wembley Stadium Speedway circuit. Eric Langton won the toss of the coin against Wilbur Lamoureux and chose to ride off of gate 1. Full in the knowledge, by scoring 13 points on the night, he had almost won the 1936 World Speedway Championship. Once again, Eric Langton had 13 points to his name and a second chance to run off for the right to be called World Champion, just as Brewer Wilkinson had in effect won the World Championship in 1936 and made it count in 1938. But Eric Langton didn't have 2 years to wait. His chance might never come again, nor would Wilbur Lamoureux's for 10 long years, who chose to take gate 2. Neither would Cordy Milne's chance come again. He chose gate 3. All 3 riders were composed at the gate. Each one of them knew full well what was at stake: the 1939 Individual World Speedway Championship. The tape rose dramatically, the rider in white exiting the tapes ahead of his 2 rivals. Cordy Milne powered towards the first bend. Eric Langton and Wilbur Lamoureux locked together into bend 1, turning through into bend 2. Eric Langton surging forward onto the back straight, driving past Cordy Milne, who closes the door on the determined charge through of Wilbur Lamoureux. Langton turns into bend 3, Cordy Milne driving under the British rider, who remains clamped to the line, turning into bend 4. Milne pressing his case, pushing under the British rider, Lamoureux riding round the boards. Langton enters the home straight with Cordy Milne powering forward, Lamoureux picking up drive, Langton outpacing Milne down the straight, Lamoureux driving past Cordy Milne. Langton turns into bend 1, lap 2, glances over his shoulder, realises his immediate adversary is no longer Cordy Milne, holds to the line, turning into bend 2, lap 2. Lamoureux pushing under the British rider, entering the back straight. Langton gives chase to the American, but Cordy Milne is coming under Langton, entering bend 3, lap 2, pushing the rider off his line, entering bend 4, lap 2. Langton turning in, shooting forward onto the home straight. Cordy Milne holds off Langton's determined drive past him on the line into lap 3. Langton's pressuring Milne into bend 1, lap 3. Lamoureux turning into bend 2, lap 3. Langton going wide, picking up drive, entering the back straight, thrusting forward. The momentum gathered carries Langton past Cordy Milne. The British rider turning in, diving under Lamoureux, entering bend 3, lap 3, pushing the American off the line. Langton turning into bend 4, lap 3, in front onto the home straight. Langton, as if pursued by a squadron of German fighter planes, turns into bend 1 lap 4, followed closely by Corey Milne, who passed by the unsettled Lamoureux on the home straight. Langton glances back. Corey Milne looks instinctively, momentarily, into the eyes of the British rider. Langton keeping tight to his line, Milne driving under him, Lamoureux on the eye line, looking for grip, as Langton did the previous lap. Entering bend 2, lap 4, Langton emerges onto the back straight. Corey Milne right behind him on the line, boxed in by Wilbur Lamoureux. The British rider makes the turn into bend 3, lap 4. Corey Milne still pushing him. Lamoureux mid-track turning in. Exiting bend 4, lap 4. Langton is ahead. Lamoureux and Corey Milne press forward, drawing level with Langton. It is this last dash for the line that will determine all. The three riders now give everything they have. The crowd gasps. Eric Langton's front wheel crosses the line, inches ahead of Wilbur Lamoureux. Corey Milne just nosing out in the last yard before the checkered flag. In first place, Eric Langton. Second, Wilbur Lamoureux. Third, Corey Milne. There was a stunned silence. Eric Langton drifted slowly round the track. Corey Milne and Wilbur Lamoureux offered congratulations to England's first world champion. Not a sound was heard in the stadium. It was like a silent movie, a dream unfolding into reality. Screams of elation filled the air. To some it was an omen, a sign of things to come. No one had expected Eric Langton to win this world championship. Not now, not ever. There were those who insisted Arthur Atkinson was the most favoured English rider to win this meeting. Some said it really ought to have been Bill Kitchen. Most would have preferred it to have been the golden boy of British Speedway, Jack Parker. Indeed, it was Parker who told one and all in the pits and the journalists who interviewed him. "Well, you know, it was me who won it for Langton," smiled Jack ruefully. "If I hadn't have won E20, Corey Milne might be the one talking to you right now, not me. But good luck to Eric. You'll never hear me say other than Langton's a great rider and fully deserving of the title of world champion." But it wasn't Jack Parker who won the 1939 World Speedway final. It was Eric Langton, who had finally put behind him the disappointment of runner-up in 1936 to emerge from a second run-off for the first world But it wasn't Jack Parker who won the 1939 World Speedway final. It was Eric Langton, who had finally put behind him the disappointment of runner-up in 1936 to emerge from a second run-off for the World Championship as the victor. There were those who said it was the defiant, triumphant look on Eric Langton's face as he received the World Championship trophy of His Majesty King George VI that inspired the British people through the dark days of World War II. The end.